That was a very long introduction to myself that I did not understand a word of. I hope it was all good, by the way. Yeah. All right, let's see if I can actually read what I wrote here. Can you still hear me good? Yeah. Good. I'll try to take it slowly, because I do realize that not everyone understands English. So I'll do it slowly. So, hello everyone, and thank you for inviting me here. This is really great. And today I'll be talking about an audio revolution. Well, that's at least the way that we set it up. It's not quite that, but we'll get back to that in a little later. Well, Radio Day's theme here today, as we've probably heard already in French by about 1 million times, is radio and AI. So I promised to have a quick look at AI. AI is an amazing technology. It's an accelerator. AI takes what we have currently, for instance, the radio business, on air, online, and then it expands it, gives us more of the same, more content, cheaper, better, and faster. AI tools are already at hand to accelerate radio production, tools that can do the heavy lifting of researching, editing, and publishing. Using AI is like putting the world into a photocopier and pressing 200%. But AI, right now, in the radio industry, is in its infancy. So what I found might be interesting is to try to look at AI in other industries. For instance, the car industry. So in cars, the first use of AI we saw in navigation systems, for instance, with maps. That's pretty commonly known. We see it in cars all over. And then came the security systems in cars. So the cars were constantly being monitored, and we were being monitored 1,000 times a second. And lastly, we have the entertainment systems where your car now actually understands you. Now, all this is common knowledge. There's nothing special there. The next step in AI in cars, obviously, is self-driving cars. You no longer are steering the vehicle. You're no longer at the wheel. You can take a nap as you drive home for Christmas. So, there's a point to all this. Our job as driving the car is now fully automated. But what will then happen to the people that are currently working in the industry of driving? For instance, taxi drivers. They will now be out of jobs. Food delivery guys, they will all be gone. The long-haul truck drivers, they're no longer to be seen. If we look in 10 years ahead, there's an entire industry that will be wiped out. Well, the industry will still be there, but there will be no humans working in it. So, then you could ask yourself, could the same thing happen to the radio industry? This is where we bring it all back, see, back to the industry, scare the shit out of you. Clearly not, because the radio industry is a completely different industry than the car industry. It's a creative industry. But if we should nitpick just for a moment, then you could say, yes, we could use AI for stuff like, I don't know, the weather, the top of the hour news, maybe some light entertainment, maybe a DJ show. When you think about it, you could actually use AI for most of the things that we're currently doing. Just a thought before we all go into AI is going to make our lives a lot better. It might do, but it might also end you unemployed. So anyway, let's not dwell more in that, because that's not actually the reason why I came to talk here. What I wanted to talk about was the audio revolution. I just have to say, they forced me to talk about AI, so now I talked about AI. What I wanted to talk about is the audio revolution. So, let's begin with why make a revolution in the first place? What's the need? And the whole idea here really started with a conversation, as many ideas do, with about the polarized world we live in. There's an increased divide in the world, and most of us feel it. The world is becoming, as I said, more polarized. We distinguish between the reds and the blue, the rich and the poor, the left and the right, and the them and the us. And this is, in many ways, a consequence of the attention economy. a development that radio and other media have been an active participant in. Attention is money, and let's face it, we're all seeking money, so therefore we strive that in the same direction. And to grab the listener's attention, we use the things that hold them to the radio: fear and loathing, anger and outrage. You all understand that? Hopefully. Okay, because this is important. So if you turn on the news nowadays, it will spill over with stories that are designed to engage, to grab your attention, to steer you towards a block of commercials. But as we fight for attention, we're digging trenches, them and us, creating rifts in our society, again, black and white, shouting at each other from opposite sides of canyons. How can we bring back these ridges? How can we create what was once divided and bring it back together again? That was the thinking, that was the conversation. I think many of you have had this conversation. Okay, so in essence, when we're talking about an audio revolution or audio foundation, we're not talking about an audio project. It's in essence, what it is an attempt to bring back what once was divided. And for that, radio is really, really good. Radio, in essence, is an empathy machine. And empathy is what we need if we're going to bring everything back together, because we need understanding and empathy. Radio holds listeners, helps listeners to create images. This is what we do all the time. When we listen, we imagine, we become co-creators. And as we imagine the story, we become intertwined with the story. We put parts of ourselves into the characters, and they become a small part of us. TV can't do the same thing. With TV, we react to the images in front of us. We judge based on clothes, skin color, hairstyle, anything really, but not radio. Radio is inherently empathetic. The definition of empathy is, I feel something of what you feel. Radio is an empathy machine. Our idea for the audio foundation is to focus on long-form radio. The long-form narratives can put stories into context. They can give insights into other worlds, other people that otherwise are strangers, people that otherwise are the them. Long-form radio can build bridges, and that was the entire point of the exercise. How do we build bridges between these rifts? How do we create something that can create understanding in an otherwise divided canyon? The audio foundation, as we imagine it, will have 3 legs. Now, if you imagine a pyramid, at the bottom of the foundation you'll have education. Basically, we'll be training young people in becoming better audio producers. The talent is out there for creating great radio, but they need support. And in the middle of the pyramid, there is the actual production. And again, we were talking about long-form radio. And long-form radio is expensive. It requires research, travel expenses, editing, re-editing, mixing. All of the best radio productions take months to even years to produce. If you take something like This American Life, Radiolab, S-Town, those are the kinds of production we have in mind. So the Audio Foundation will focus on supporting projects internationally that have focus on building bridges and creating understanding and empathy between countries, cultures, and people. And the last part of the pyramid is the top of the pyramid. This is the Radio Lab for developing new ideas, developing new formats, new ways to tell stories, new ways to produce audio, new ways to create immersive audio experiences, all done without the pressure of having a deadline hanging over you. We need to create beacons in the radio industry, beacons that others can follow. We need to make moonshots, show what can be done, and to inspire. We'll both aim for the stars and build the scaffolding so others also can reach up to grab them. And hopefully, an audio revolution can be part of pulling the ridges back together and making the canyon less divided, so we once again can hear one another speaking. And with that hope for what radio can do, and I really do believe radio can do that, I hope you all have a great show.